This is The Download from Sounds Profitable, your daily source for essential news in the business of podcasting. I'm Gavin Gaddis. Here's what you need to know for today, Tuesday, August 11th, 2026. First up, before I get into the news, reminder, the podcast movement is headed to New York City on September 17th through 18th, bringing 80 expert-led sessions across 5 stages at Terminal 5. Join hundreds of creators, executives, and industry professionals for 2 days of learning, networking, and inspiration. You can buy your ticket today and experience the world's largest podcast conference. And as a reminder, this year, there are no ticket tiers, just one general admission fee. Into our first top story, official podcasts, the natural home of betting sponsors in 2026 and 2027. With the Premier League banning front-of-shirt gambling sponsorships from the 2026-2027 season, Sports Social Podcast Network agency account manager Ryan Barker argues official team and fan podcasts are the natural landing spot for betting brands that still want to reach supporters. Where a shirt logo brought broad visibility, podcasts trade on engaged, opt-in audiences and room for real storytelling, letting brands build loyalty rather than simple awareness. Barker points to a Sky Bet partnership across 20 fan-created football podcasts that reached more than 1 million listeners over 150-plus episodes and lifted brand consideration alongside campaign case studies that turned thousands of site visits into hundreds of paying customers. Next up, why do I have so many Apple Podcast plays? Bumper co-founder Dan Misener explains that Apple Podcasts counts a play every time someone taps the play button rather than every unique listener. So one person who pauses and resumes an episode can rack up several plays. That makes the number impossible to compare with Spotify plays or YouTube views and impossible to responsibly add together. And it inflates further on longer episodes where listeners pause more often. The AMP Accords call for a standardized play definition that Spotify has already adopted, but Apple has yet to update its metric. Misener's advice is, instead of trusting raw Apple plays, lean on modeled playback built from verified audience and retention data. Next up, iHeart reports 20.7 podcast revenue growth and a Disney Plus video deal. As the headline says, iHeartMedia has posted its Q2 2026 report with podcast revenue up 20.7% year over year to $162 million, now 16.5% of the company's total revenue. Alongside the numbers, iHeart announced a video podcast deal with Disney Plus and Hulu that will bring new shows to the platforms, including Hey Jonas. The growth underscores how large a share of the business podcasting now drives at a major audio company, while the Disney deal marks another step in the industry's push into video distribution. Next up, podcast ad revenue is up 23% year over year. The line goes up. Magellan AI's Q2 2026 podcast advertising quarterly benchmark report finds podcast ad revenue up 23% year over year, another sign of steady advertiser demand. The average ad load ticked up again at 8.75% of a podcast runtime from 8.25 last quarter, or roughly 5.5 minutes of ads per hour. The report gives networks, publishers, and platforms a fresh read on pricing and demand as the market keeps expanding. Next up, YouTube just doubled the creator economy's entry fee. YouTube is raising the bar for its partner program, doubling the qualified watch hour requirement from 4,000 to 8,000 and the shorts threshold from 10 million to 20 million views. This is effective February 1st, 2027. The 1,000 subscriber minimum stays in place, and current partner program members keep their access. The streaming wars frames the move as YouTube concentrating ad and subscription payouts among proven creators while keeping discovery open to everybody else, turning monetization into a qualification layer for a maturing media marketplace. For podcasters who lean on YouTube, it raises the cost of entry just as video becomes table stakes. As for the rest of the news, Right Side Up promotes an upcoming webinar about a new data on creator-based advertising and what buyers do with it. drawing on Sounds Profitable's Podcast Atlas study to show how creator ad performance across audio, video, social, and newsletters translates into real media buying decisions. Ask a Marketer How Advertisers Read the Research is set for Tuesday, August 18th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. The Podglomerate has 4 sessions in the running for South by Southwest 2027 and is asking for votes to help bring them to Austin, with a tap of the heart button on each entry counting as support. I've linked that in today's issue. Red Seat Ventures' Speakeasy platform is bringing HLS video to Apple Podcasts, starting with Jubilee Media's debate series Surrounded, and adding adaptive streaming, offline downloads, and dynamic video ad insertion, with more RSV shows to follow. A new Cumulus Hill and Signal Hill Insights podcast download report finds podcast listeners over-index on ad-free streaming video, with 88% using ad-free services, making podcasts a way for streamers like Netflix to reach audiences that skip traditional TV ads. And this is coverage from Pierre Bouvard at Westwood One. Backyard Ventures signed independent true crime podcast Big Mad True Crime and host Heather Ashley to exclusive advertising representation, taking over host Red ads, brand partnerships, and social integrations for the show. The Streaming Wars looked at how Disney is putting old IP to work through video podcasts, highlighting the iHeart and Disney deal as a method to extend franchises and fill inventory between premium releases. And finally, Podstock says it has surpassed 10 billion hours of measured listening and viewing across YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts since launch, with publisher adoption doubling in the first half of 2026 as the cross-platform analytics firm pushes measurement beyond the download. That does it for today's issue of The Download. As usual, you can find a link in the show notes that takes you to the episode post on our website, where everything I just talked about has its own link. You can also subscribe to the newsletter version of the show to get it sent straight to your email inbox. Today's issue was written and produced by myself, Brian Barletta, Molly DeMillier, and Tom Webster. For Sounds Profitable, I'm Gavin Gaddis, and we'll see you tomorrow.